It's Charde, your favorite Blentrepreneur, and here on this series we'll be discussing my personal journey in entrepreneurship and all the lessons, tips, and hacks I've learned when it comes to starting your own business. So, the first thing when it comes to starting your own business, on our first episode we'll be talking about getting educated, certifications, and your presence as a business person or an entrepreneur. So first, certifications, right? When you think about education and starting your own business, regardless of what field you're going into, you want to make sure that your audience knows that you know what you're talking about. So it's not just enough to decide, okay, I want to start this business, right? I want to sell products, or I want to do holistic wellness services. You have to make sure that you are focusing on, okay, what do I need to learn? What certifications do I need? When you go and think about things like holistic wellness, so that's also something that I'm pursuing, a part of my personal journey. You're dealing with people's lives. You're dealing with, their ups and downs, the mental things that they have going on, their goals, their desires. And so you really want to make sure that you're well educated when it comes to, okay, how do I handle people? How do I handle this product? How do I handle this service? And we have the whole world, at our fingertips. You can Google things, you can get certifications. So when you're dealing with people and services and products, you want to make sure that you actually know what you need to know. And so, for example, with the Black Lotus, right, and my very near and dear child to my heart, there are a lot of moving parts when it comes to the Lotus and the team. And so things like copywriting, right, was new to me. What is copywriting? And figuring out, okay, well, how do I need to learn more about that so I can actually bring somebody on who can also do that effectively then? Because, and so for anyone who doesn't know, copywriting is writing for sales essentially, or for a service or purpose. So when you copyright, it's things like email marketing, things like newsletters, writing to get people to do something, whether it is purchasing your products or utilizing your services. And so I went on Google, I scoured Google, read articles, watched YouTube videos about copywriting, anything that I could find, books, that would allow me to then bring someone on and say, okay, I know what you have to do because, I understand copywriting. So this is what I need for you, for this company or for this specific task. And it just makes it a lot easier for you to work with people and to expand as you need to expand. Because as an entrepreneur, we all know you can't do everything. And when you're thinking about doing everything, it kind of takes away from the whole, because now you're spreading yourself so thin trying to do X, Y, and Z. And you should be bringing someone on for that, right? Or should be getting extra help, whether you're outsourcing or you're bringing someone actually onto your team. So a couple of resources that I think are really good are, one, Udemy. Udemy is a website that allows you to get certifications based off of different people who are teaching courses. Of course, you've got different platforms that also do similar things, and I know this isn't business related, but like Masterclass. And you've got a lot of the professional celebrities and actors teaching you how to write scripts and how to act for film and different things like that. So Udemy is a similar website. And then I also use Scribd. So if you're not familiar with Scribd, it is an online book database essentially, or literature database, where you can find any book, get PDFs, music, scripts, pretty much anything that you need literature wise. And it's, I want to say, about $9 a month, $9.99 a month, and then you get to read all the books that you want to read. And that's just been very beneficial for me when it comes to learning about what I need to know, and just always having access to essentially unlimited education. So those are just a couple of things that I think that we can take advantage of as entrepreneurs, because you also have to think about, as an entrepreneur, when you have people on your team, you have to make sure that you're also educating them. So you're furthering them, continuously challenging them, or making sure that they have the tools that they need to grow. Because no one likes to be in a stagnant space, right? So if there's no room to grow, there's no challenges, there's no, things that show people that, okay, this is aligned or in alignment with what I want to do or where I want to go, that can be a little bit difficult to maintain, right? Because we all want challenges, we all want to grow, so that we can move forward on our journey. So outside of that, with knowledge, right, and getting educated, just making sure that you utilize the things that you need to be successful. And then I also want to talk about mentorships, right? And when you talk about people, people essentially is really the product. The people, making sure that your team is happy, making sure that you are happy, making sure that people you're servicing or you're providing for are happy. And that just takes a lot of adjusting, a lot of learning. And so mentors really, really come in handy when you are embarking upon a new journey or a new business. So a lot of the mentors that I have received or retained are from being in different groups, especially, I'm shout out Clubhouse. I don't know if y'all already on Clubhouse, but if you're not on Clubhouse, you need to be on Clubhouse, because there are literally so many different rooms that people are starting that have to do with pretty much anything that you could think of. Videographers, people are talking about business etiquette, not business etiquette, I'm sorry, but business in general, business education. So learning about finances, learning about credit, and of course you got the rooms where people are talking about relationships and, life and all that jazz, 21 questions, pretty much anything is on Clubhouse. But when you are looking or seeking for that knowledge, right, then you're able to find different groups of people who can assist you or aid you. A lot of my personal network came from college. I was fortunate enough to do a business competition at Central Michigan University, and I met a lot of the people who continue to guide me today, like Dan Ward, for example, who owns Detroit Labs, which is a technology company. We were able to connect, and he just, saw my pitch, saw what I was doing. I approached him, and was like, hey, I think what you're doing might align, and he was really nice, and just the value, right, is what speaks to people, essentially, who you are and the value that you're bringing, or the value that your company is bringing. And so we decided to, kind of embark on building a relationship, and other people that I just met happened coincidentally. And those people have been very influential when it comes to things that I need to know, things that I don't understand, and just being a guiding hand when it comes to being an entrepreneur and the ups and downs, because they're not always about business, right? Sometimes it can be personal. It can be, okay, well, I'm overwhelmed right now. I don't know what to do, or how do I fix this problem in my personal life that I see is impacting my business life and my business success. And so you want to make sure that you have those relationships and that you're building those relationships, and not just out of necessity, right? Not just out of necessity for a business or for strategy, or you feel like you might want something from them in the future, no. But just in on a personal level, a general personal level of how do you connect with this person? Why do they speak to you? What about their business even attracts you as a human being? Because, right, our businesses really reflect who we are. So those are just a couple of things that I feel are very important when it comes to education and maintaining that. And you want to think about also, as you grow, continuing to grow and refine your education. It really never stops. Educating yourself never ends. You're always bringing on new people. You're always learning new things. The industry's constantly changing, right? How we're shooting and how we're doing production now is not the same as how people did production, maybe 20 years ago, and who knows what it'll look like in the future. So you just want to make sure that as you grow, as your company grows, your knowledge base is also growing, and you're expanding that and really giving that the time that it needs so that you can be successful. Because if you don't know what you're talking about, and you don't trust yourself, and you don't trust what you're speaking into the world, or the things that you're bringing to the world, then nobody else will, right? Because everything starts with you. So another thing that I would say when it comes to educating yourself and your team. Good resources, of course, like I said, are videos, right? So some things that I've been reading and watching, I mentioned before, copywriting. We do a lot of production, so I have been watching videos on angles and on, I need to get watch videos about lighting. That's my next, that is my next course of action when it comes to education. But so videos with photography, with production, and I would also say once you begin to learn more, you also understand a little bit better what type of systems that you need to create in order to make them function properly. So we've added at least 2 more departments onto the company just based off of, okay, we have these team members, they're working together on these types of projects. This is a sector of the company. And so you began to get some organizational structure as well, or I would say add on to or edit your organizational structure when it comes to education and bringing people on the team, because that just shows you, okay, now that we have all of these moving pieces, this is how we need to move forward. And so that really just helps with, again, organization of the company, which makes everyone's job easier. So you know what types of templates you need, you know what types of articles that you need to provide to maybe your interns. So we have about 13 writing interns right now, and about 22 in total writers who are either guest contributors or interns. And different things that we needed to provide to them are things like a breakdown of the different writing styles, or a template for how we prefer for our articles to be structured, so that they know, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z before I submit this article. And that just makes our lives easier as well when it comes to editing, and they have a surefire understanding of what they're supposed to do, how it needs to get executed, and when it needs to get done. So we've also incorporated different things like briefs, which is new for us as we continue to move into the year. But the briefs for us, when it comes to marketing or when it comes to production, outline, okay, for this particular advertisement, who's our target audience? What type of people are they? What exactly are we advertising? What is the value here? What are we saying? What are we getting people or wanting people to do? And then, okay, how is it structured? You get into more of the editorial, visual, storytelling aspects of the production. But all of those other things are very important for the entire team to know. So not only the host or whoever is doing the digital content, but the videographers and the audio text, because that influences, okay, this is the kind of song we might need for an intro here, or this is the type of interlude we might want under this advertisement. So all of those things, when they begin to come into play, fit in a sort of working system. And that system allows your company to function effectively. So without those systems, and let's just talk about when there's kind of like chaos, right? Everything falls on you as well. When you think about being an entrepreneur, anything that goes wrong in your company is because of you. And I consider it the same. If anything that's wrong, people that don't know what's going on, people that don't know, what they should be doing, a system that is failing, all of those things for me come back to me. Whether that's, okay, Charde, you need to learn more about production so you understand it better, so you know, okay, this is what everyone needs in order to execute things effectively. Or, okay, Charde, you created this system, it doesn't really seem to be working, now it needs to get tweaked. And so those are things that you have to take into consideration when you're an entrepreneur and you have people on your team. And I guess I'll try not to speak from a linear perspective, because I know sometimes you can be an entrepreneur, right, and not necessarily have a team. But these are things that would also still impact you as an individual, because they impact your time and what you're doing in your time, how you're using your time. So if you're not efficient, if you're not effective, that's time that's getting taken away from you, right? And that's time that's not being utilized efficiently, which then translates to the type of products that you put out. It translates to the quality of your services and pretty much anything in relation to your company. And so one thing that I also found very, very interesting when it came to structure and systems I was listening to a book, I believe, and I'll mention this later in another episode, we'll talk about the E-Myth. But I was watching a book called The E-Myth, and y'all, clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about today. But no, so I listened to it. I like audiobooks. So I was listening to the E-Myth, and he was discussing a system. He went to a hotel, essentially, and they, carried his bags up to his room, your typical, really good standard hotel service, right? And so he talks about how he goes to dinner afterwards. And at the dinner table, the waiter is asking him just different questions, making it conversational, but what types of things do you like? How do you like your coffee? Or, just random things that he thought, okay, well, he's just having a conversation with me, right? And so then he gets back up to his room, and the fireplace is on, the coffee maker is on, brewing him some black coffee, and there's a newspaper at his desk. Because he told them, oh, well, I like, reading the news, and I like the newspaper, I like my coffee this way. So essentially just those little itty bitty things, right, that they were able to do or create this experience for him. And now when he goes to his room, he's like, oh wow, they were really paying attention. They got my newspaper, they got the coffee, I feel good, the fireplace is on, I'm gonna come back here. And so that's what a system is, right? It's figuring out, okay, well, how do we need to do what we need to do to get the best service or the best product? So they knew that, little things matter to people. When you go to a hotel and you're thinking about cleanliness, you're thinking about, the soft pillows and how your experience is overall. So they amplified that kind and kind of like soft experience for him. So they were able to determine, okay, well, we need to have people who are asking these questions throughout the day, so that once their day ends and they come back to their hotel room, they not only enjoy, the room and the ambiance, but they also enjoy the service. They feel like it's more personable. They feel like we care. And so that's what systems do for your business, is they allow you to really zone in on the value that you're bringing and allow you to execute those things effectively, so that people want to come back, they want to continue to shop with you, or, they just want to tell someone else about your business or your service. So those are just a couple of things when it comes to education, when it comes to thinking about the structures and the systems of your business and how you continually need to grow as an entrepreneur to make sure that you're successful, to make sure your team is successful, whatever you're doing, whether it's a product or service, that it is effective and it's doing what it needs to do for your audience, for your consumers, anyone who's interested in learning more about you and what you do. So that's all I have for you guys today with the very first episode. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you feel like you gained something, if you feel like you got some knowledge here and value from this episode or this series, then definitely hit that like button, like. You want to subscribe to our channel and make sure that you have your notifications on. So next time we drop an episode of Blentrepreneur, you will be there and ready to tune in and tell your friends.